So it's time for a new best Prebuilt gaming PCs of the month for the month of May 2022. I will mention 5 different gaming desktops that I actually recommend you buying, but I will also recommend you some upgrades because some Prebuilt PCs need some upgrades to make it better. Remember that these upgrades are not mandatory right now, you can make them down the line. And you will also have plenty of different gaming PCs that I updated down below in the description because I will mention 5 gaming desktops for 5 different budgets, but there are a bunch of different budgets more, so you will have each gaming PC for more budgets down below in the description as well with the gaming PCs that I'm about to mention. Without more to say, let's start with the list. With the first one we have the Victus 15L. I actually mentioned this type of PCs a lot in my videos and I will make it short and simple. This PC has the GTX 1660 Super with the Ryzen 5 5600G, which is a great budget CPU-GPU combination for just $650. The only downside for this PC is the upgradability down the line. If you want to upgrade, let's say, the GPU or the CPU to a higher end one, you will need a new case and a new power supply, so that's something to keep in mind. If you want something for gaming right now, I think this one is actually pretty good on a budget, but if you want something that's upgradable down the line, you wanna wait until I mention the next one. The upgrades that I recommend you doing for this PC are the RAM and storage. You just click on customize and buy, go for memory and change the RAM to 16 gigs and then change the primary storage to at least 500 gigs of SSD. This will allow you to download more games, and because you get 16 gigs of RAM, you will have a much better overall gaming experience. So remember, if you want a first gaming desktop, you don't really care about upgradability, this PC is going to be the right one for you if you're working with a tight budget. But if you want something that's upgradable and it's also not that expensive, I would recommend you the Blaze 2 from Skytech, from the Skytech website as well. This one is on a deal right now. You end up saving $120 and the total price will be $880. You get the GTX 1660, so it's going to be a little bit worse than the 15L in terms of gaming because you also get the i5-10400F. So I recommend you upgrading the CPU down the line, but here you get 16 gigs of RAM, so no need for an upgrade there, and you get 1 TB of SSD, so these are things that you don't need to upgrade anytime in the near future. And this PC is also upgradable because it's a system integrator and you get a 600 watt 80 plus volt power supply, so if you want something upgradable that is also pretty good for gaming right now at 1080p, this one is going to be the right one for you. But if you want something that's better for performance right now and you don't really care about upgradability, the Victus 15L is going to be the best one for you if you are working with a tight budget, of course. With the next one we have the Archangel gaming PC from Amazon. This one is $1,350 and you get the RTX 3060 and the i5-12400F. It's actually pretty nice to see that they are putting the latest gen of Intel on these new deals. You also get 1 TB of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM. My only concern here is going to be the airflow and the cooling for the CPU. These are not great, but they are also not bad. I actually recommend you upgrading it down the line if you cannot do it right now. The total price will be around $120 for a new Phanteks P360A with a new CPU cooler for the i5, and that will make a huge difference in terms of cooling. Other than that, this PC is going to be great for 1080p and also some 1440p gaming. The RTX 3060 is actually capable of 1440p, not on the highest settings, but it's still going to be a nice entry option at 1440p, and this is the total maximum that I would spend on a 1080p gaming desktop. Of course, if you do these upgrades, the total price will be around $1,500, and I actually recommend you buying a PC build instead of a Prebuilt PC at that price point. Actually, my last video, it's about the best $1,500 PC build that you can get right now, and you get the RTX 3060 Ti and the i5-12600K, which is a much better combo than this one, and you also get more SSD, better cooling, better airflow, and for the same price, $1,500. So I actually recommend you building it by yourself, but if you want a Prebuilt PC because you're scared of building it by your own or you don't want to pay someone to do it for you, then I think this Prebuilt PC is actually a nice deal. With the next PC we have what I think is the best deal in terms of price performance in the market right now. You save $200 because it's on a discount right now, but you get the RTX 3070, the i5-12600K, 1 TB of SSD and 16 gigs of RAM alongside a 240 all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU, so you get a great cooling system. You also get great airflow because of those 3 fans in the front, and it's also a mesh panel, so the airflow and cooling are great great. You get the RTX 3070, which is going to work great at 1440p and even 4K, and you get the i5 12600K, a 10-core 16-thread processor. It's going to do a great job not only for gaming but also for productivity. Of course, it's not going to be better than that i7 12700K, but I think that CPU is a totally overkill for most people. So if you want something for gaming that is also great for video editing and productivity, I think this one is going to be the right one for you. With the next one, we have the ABS Legend from Newegg. This one has the RTX 3080 Ti, 2TB of M.2 NVMe SSD, 32GB of RAM, and the i7 12700KF. Once again, I think the i7 is for professionals that are looking for productivity, but it's also great for gaming. You get that 3080 Ti, which is basically one of the best GPUs on the market right now, below the 3090 and 3090 Ti. The total price is $3,500. I know it's pretty pricey, but it's actually on a deal right now. You end up saving $500. The airflow and cooling are great, and I know that I jumped from $1,600 all the way up to $3,500, which is a huge price difference, but remember that you will have plenty of more PCs down below in the description. So if you're searching for 1440p 240Hz monitor or a 4K great experience, I think that you should be looking at this one if you have $3,500 on your pocket. And the last one is the Skytech Prims 2 from Amazon. This one is $4,500, so $1,000 more expensive, but if you have the money to do it and you want to do some heavy productivity work with heavy 4K gaming, and I'm saying Flight Simulator 2020, Red Dead Redemption 2, and you want to run everything nice and smoothly at 4K, I think it's worth the price if you're searching for something like that, because you get the i9 12900K, which is the best CPU for productivity by far right now. Actually, the Ryzen 7 5800X 3D, it's a little bit better for gaming than this i9, but if you're talking about productivity and video editing, the i9 beats the Ryzen 7. For the GPU, you get the RTX 3090, the second best GPU right now, just below the 3090 Ti, 1TB of Gen 4 SSD. This is my only recommendation. I would actually recommend you upgrading the SSD to at least 2TB, especially if you're going to download some heavy files or heavy video games. Then you get 32GB of RAM of DDR5, so it's going to be all that you need for video editing and gaming at 4K, and you also get an 850W 80+ gold power supply for future upgradabilities, alongside a 360mm all-in-one liquid cooler for the CPU, because we all know that the i9 12900K is going to run really hot, so we need a good CPU cooler, and this one definitely meets the criteria. So overall, you get, I think, one of the best deals out there on the market right now for a Prebuilt gaming PC. But remember that if you're going to work with a 1080p or even a 1440p 60Hz monitor, you want to go for a lower end gaming desktop. But if you're a professional and you're looking to invest on a gaming desktop, I think this one is definitely a good deal. If you found this video helpful, leave a like and subscribe, but most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content, which I do from 3 to 5 times a week. Thank you guys for the support, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for the support, and I will see you on the next one.